Today we're going to talk about the three-banded armadillo and its main idea. Again, today we're going to use our main idea clues to help us figure out what the main idea of this article is. Remember, you should always be asking yourself, what is the selection mostly about? 2, make sure you look at the title because the title can give you clues, as well as the pictures. Sometimes the main idea is stated in the first or last sentence, but remember, I always like to check the first couple of sentences because sometimes it's there as well. And then finally look for clue words that are used repeatedly. So let's start off by looking at the title. It says, Best Special Effect, the Three-Banded Armadillo. So I should be paying attention to what special effect the armadillo can do. The next part tells me to look at the pictures. Well, the very first picture has a caption next to it that says, Three-banded armadillos sport supreme design. Again, it's talking about the design. And then it says they use hinged bands to roll themselves up into a ball. So that's something I might want to hold on to for the main idea after I read the article. So let's go ahead and read the article, and we'll be paying attention for main idea and supporting details as we go. Note to Hollywood special effects creators, if you need to devise ingenious strategies for heroes to protect themselves against bloodthirsty attackers, take inspiration from the three-banded armadillo. While all armadillos sport leathery armored shells to fend off prey like ravenous wildcats, three-banded armadillos are the only ones that curl themselves into completely enclosed balls, says Southwest Missouri State biology professor Lynn Robbins. The three-banded armadillo and the southern three-banded armadillo live in South America. Their body shields consist of bony plates and a layer of horn or keratin, which is fibrous proteins that make up tissues such as hair and nails. The plates themselves are formed by ossified or hardened skin. On their shells, 3 hinged bands give them the flexibility to roll themselves up. Since the shoulder and hunch plates aren't attached on the sides to the armadillo's skin, there's plenty of room inside to fit a head, legs, and a tail. The shells are also good insulators. They trap heat to keep the creature active in winter. When threatened, armadillos curl up and leave only a tiny peephole from which to peer out at their predator. If touched, they snap totally shut. However, some fierce jaguars have been known to use their savage teeth and claws to crack open a tasty armadillo. Even the most dazzling special effects have their limits. So I now know from the title that the best special effect is that they can close themselves completely up and roll themselves into a ball. So I need to find a sentence that will go along with that and some supporting details. I know the caption caught my eye before I began reading about how they used hinge bands to roll themselves up into a ball, but I want to make sure that the first couple of sentences don't seem more like the main idea. So the first part is talking about special effects in Hollywood, which I know is not what the main idea is. And the first main sentence says, if you need to devise ingenious strategies for heroes to protect themselves against bloodthirsty attackers, take inspiration from the three-banded armadillo. So that hasn't really told how they protect themselves yet. So the next sentence says, while all armadillos sport leathery armored shells to fend off prey like ravenous wildcats, three-banded armadillos are the only ones that curl themselves completely into enclosed balls. I think that's the main idea, because the article does talk a lot about how the armadillo can close themselves completely up. So now I need to locate some supporting details. So now I remember that caption by the picture, that they used hinge bands to roll themselves completely up into a ball, and that supports that they can completely close themselves up. So I will add that as my first supporting detail. On their shells, 3 hinged bands give them the flexibility to roll themselves up. I'm going to continue looking for things that would help to support that they can completely close themselves into a secure ball. I see here that it says the body shield consists of bony plates, which would help to protect them, but it doesn't support them forming into a ball. So I'm going to keep looking. Now down here it says, since the shoulder and haunch plates aren't attached to the sides of the armadillo's skin, there's plenty of room inside to fit a head, leg, and tail. That helps me to know that they can completely curl into an enclosed ball. So I'm going to add that as one of my details. The next sentence says, the shells are also good insulators. I'm not sure that supports the sentence that they can close completely into an enclosed ball, so I'm not going to include that one. The next part says, when threatened, armadillos curl up and leave only a tiny peephole from which to peer at their predator. If touched, they snap totally shut. I definitely think that goes along with having an enclosed ball, because then you know what it's going to do. So I'm actually going to combine those two sentences together for my third supporting detail. I'm going to put, when threatened by a predator, they curl up, but when touched, they close completely, which then also supports that they curl themselves into enclosed balls. Now it's your turn to go identify the main idea and 3 supporting details. However, you will be doing it on the best impersonator, the mimic octopus. Listen to the article read to you aloud again right now, and then go fill in the main idea and supporting details on Class Kick. Remember to use your main idea clues. Ask yourself what the selection's mostly about. Look at the title, look at the pictures, look at the first or second or last sentence, and then look for words that are used repeatedly. The award for the best impersonator goes to the mimic octopus. Do you know of an undiscovered superstar, a natural talent who can mimic others on demand? For years, divers in murky waters off Indonesia snapped photos of an octopus, an 8-armed invertebrate, which means no backbone, that seemed to impersonate a cast of marine animals through mimicry, which means looking like other species. When a group of scientists got a hold of the images, they hightailed it to Indonesia last year to identify the extraordinary 60-centimeter, 24-inch long copycat, which they dubbed the mimic octopus. A prize fact about the mimic octopus is that it contorts its body and dresses in bright stripes to impersonate the poisonous lionfish. Many animals mimic other creatures to turn off predators. The harmless milk snake, for example, resembles the poisonous coral snake with its bright red, yellow, and black bands. But this octopus is the only animal we found so far that can mimic more than one animal, says biologist Tom Prigzina at the University of Leeds. The octopus can ape or mimic at least 3 creatures: the flatfish, lionfish, and sea snake, Prigzina's team claims. To mimic the flatfish, the lumpy octopus speeds up, yanks in all 8 arms, alters shape and color, and ripples its body in a wave. Why imitate a slew of creatures? One clue. The mimic octopus slinks along seafloor mud in plain sight. There's nowhere to hide, Prigzina says. Besides, add team scientist Roger Hanlon, an octopus is a soft, juicy hunk of protein that everything else out there wants to eat. Flatfish are far more populous and less likely to attract attention. How does this superstar perform its tricks? It features a flexible body that twists into multiple forms and skin cells called chromatophores, which contain various colored pigments. Muscles around each chromatophore constrict or expand the cell. When constricted, skin color lightens. When expanded, color darkens. The octopus alters color patterns by constricting and expanding thousands of chromatophores at the same time. Next stop, Warner Brothers? Now go fill out the main idea and 3 supporting details on Class Kick.